So now we're going to talk about why you should maybe not consider selling final expense, depending on your circumstances. This is a request by an agent of mine who was like, look, Dave, you can't talk about the rainbows and sunshine and how great this business is without talking about the raw truth about how some of it's bad. And I considered it and thought, you know what, he's right. The truth is there is good and bad in any business model. And me getting up here and talking about just the good stuff would be kind of not genuine, insincere, as they say. So I want to bring you what I feel are the bad parts of this business, because what I don't want to have happen is have you enter this business under false pretenses and find out it was a waste of your time and money. We're always running out of time, and we could possibly run out of money. So you need to carefully consider if the realities of this business are a good fit for your personality type, because if it's not, then don't do it. There's plenty of other opportunities out there. So let's talk about the failure rate. The report is like 90% or more of new life insurance agents fail out within their first month. Cody Askin says it's 92%. I think it's like 95%. I guess I'm a little bit more negative or nihilistic. But all I need is 90%. That's pretty bad, right? 9 out of 10 agents fail out of their first year, right? So even if that's true or not, can't really confirm or deny it. The truth is it does seem pretty accurate, as there's so much more difficulty in succeeding in this business than most ever imagine. Even watching my content, you're like, man, I feel really informed. I feel educated. I feel good. Trust me, there's a lot more to this business than just what you're watching. And it's going to be way more overwhelming than you think. And that's part of the reason why many people fail out, is they don't take this as seriously as they should. But we'll get into more of that in a minute. So let's talk about why failure is so commonplace. So number one, opportunity mismatch. I think this is probably the biggest reason why. So let me explain what I mean. What do you really want to accomplish in your business? Do you want to recruit agents? Do you want to just sell? Do you want to sell in person? Do you want to sell over the phone? Do you want to buy leads? Do you really have the money to buy leads? Do you want to do free leads? Are you psychologically prepared to accept a lower contract to do free leads? And all of this may sound silly, but this is really important. Like, what do you really want out of this business? And the truth is, there's no criticism here, we usually get in this business because somebody else referred it to us, or we stumbled across it. The person we listened to sounded good, and we trusted them. But little do we know, going on as progress ensues, that there's a lot of things that we don't know about. And we stumble across the fact that, oh, this organization I joined is an MLM. They want me to recruit all the time. I didn't know that. The guy didn't say anything when I recruited him. And now you've wasted this time because you've gotten in bed, figuratively speaking, with a business model that is not aligned with your goals. Okay? And what price are you willing to pay? That's the other thing here too. Are you really going to get into this business and give it what it deserves? Let's say you find the perfect agency with great training, great commissions, great support, a system you can get behind. Are you really going to pay the price to be successful? Success is not overnight, guys. Like, it takes time to be successful. We have agents who start off with lower production, but over the course of 3 to 5 months, gradually get it better and better, become really good producers. And then there's the whole process of paying the price of being consistently successful by giving it consistent time. Can you really put in 40 to 50 plus hours a week consistently doing the fundamentals? Can you commit to that? A lot of people fail out, can't, because it requires a lot of effort. And a lot of people don't want to put in the effort. Let's face it. They want to do something easy. Well, folks, nothing's easy in life if you want anything that's exceptional out of it. And are you really ready for entrepreneurship? Or you want something closer to a sales job? Again, this goes back to my point about, do you want to buy leads and manage a lead budget and figure out where to get leads and hope that they work out? Or do you just want to sell? Do you really just want to sell and let somebody else with the skill set and knowledge generate a system and leads to help you accomplish that? There's nothing wrong with just being focused on selling in a free lead program. But asking these questions is the point, because what we want to do is figure out for yourself and contemplate what's truly important to you, because that is what's critical for your success. If you can, the more you can ask yourself these questions and figure this stuff out and do your due diligence, which is why I try to build my YouTube channel around is facilitating due diligence. And you can figure out what you really want, man, the likelihood is higher you're going to be successful. Okay. So really, don't do what everybody else does. Jump into the first opportunity that sounds good. Put your brakes on. Do your due diligence. Watch this content. You're already here, so you're halfway there. And really think about what's important to you. What do you want out of this business? And look at slowly opportunities that seem to match it and go through the process to see if they're a good fit. If you don't, you're probably going to fail. Number two, so many are baffled by the bullshit of multi-level marketing companies. Okay? The likelihood is that 90% of you, I use that number, but it's so high. 90% of you got into this business or became interested in it because there is a multi-level marketing company, unbeknownst to you, that you were attracted by that drew you into this business. And you have to understand, multi-level marketing overruns the life insurance business. It's every major carrier, or every major organization out there in some form or function is an MLM. Now, not all of the sub-agencies associated with it may be oriented towards MLM, but a lot of them are. And the point is that you have to be very careful that you're not being tripped up by the allure and the false promises made by MLMs. You can make a lot of money real quick. Anybody can do this business. All of this is BS that they try to sell you on. So continuing on, what is multi-level marketing? Let's make sure we understand that in context insurance. Okay, I'm just talking about life insurance. Okay, multi-level marketing to me, in the context of life insurance, it is projected towards people, or it's MLM basically means agencies that focus more on recruiting and monetizing you, meaning making money off of you, not off the sale, but off of non-sales activities, versus recruiting you to sell insurance. It's a mouthful. In other words, if you join an agency and the emphasis is equally as important, if not more important, to teach you to find friends and family to recruit, or the emphasis is on selling you something that you have to buy in order to first do something, then that's probably, with more of the emphasis on MLM, or more of the emphasis on recruiting, probably more of an MLM. Now, it's not true across the board. For example, in our agency, you got to buy leads. I don't think we're an MLM, so you have to buy leads. I don't make any money off of the leads, so therefore I'm not monetizing it. But there's a very, very well-known MLM out there. Starts with an F, and you already know what I'm talking about. Historically, they were telling and teaching agents to buy these leads that they sold for $9, $10, $11, something like that they acquired for pennies on the dollar. And they weren't leads, they were data points for people that never requested life insurance. And then they resold those leads over and over again. So imagine if you're selling 5,000 of these a day and you're making $10 per sale, that's $50,000 in sheer profit every single day, just hustling these leads to these unsuspecting agents who trust you, right? That is what an MLM does. They force you to buy something like that and make money off of you, monetizing you, so that even if you don't make a sale, they don't ever make money. The agent doesn't make money. The agency makes the money, but you don't. That's not the business relationship to be involved in. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully I made sense of it. You want to stay away from those organizations that are heavy on recruiting or make you buy BS leads that aren't really worth anything. Why is it mostly bad for new agents? Hopefully that makes sense, because they're making money off of you where you don't make money as well. Where a good relationship between an agency and agent is like in ours. I only make money when you make a sale. So I'm not monetizing you in other ways other than when you make a sale, whether you're buying leads or in our free lead program. So that's good for me. I'm not making money off of, a cut off of the licensing or a cut off of the pre-licensing or buying the license, right? Like I only make money, I only win when you win. That is the sign of a good agency. Everything else tends to be MLM. And if they're MLM focused, they're not going to be necessarily focused on you succeeding selling and you making a living on your own by your own pen, meaning by your own productivity. But instead are looking to work your network and milk those people for recruits or even sales, or use you as a way to monetize crap, which they present as gold. Otherwise, the leads that they sell, right? So again, if they're emphasizing recruiting over selling, run. Not a good place to join. You need to get good at selling first before you recruit. I'm not against recruiting. I'm against the haste at which agencies teach their agents to recruit. It's usually too soon. Low commissions. Guys, a lot of these MLMs, terrible commissions. There's a well-known, again, MLM out there. They've recently lowered their commission starting at 80%, and that's just for their top product. The rest are in like the 50, 60, 70% range, and they're forcing you to buy leads that are 10, 15 bucks a piece. It's not good, guys, okay? So low commissions relative to what the going averages are, right? And for me, my opinion is if you're buying leads, you should be closer to like your main carriers, closer really to 90% to 100%. If you're on a free lead program, 30 to 50% is what I would say is fair, okay? And again, there's wild differences in agent experience. And this is why, again, I'm biased. I can't help it. I think what we do is great for the new agent because we focus on selling over recruiting. But you may join an MLM that has an agency that's dedicated to selling over recruiting, but you don't really ever know that going in because they all say they're focused on developing you and helping you make a lot of money and showing you this opportunity of selling insurance. You don't really know until you're in, which makes joining these MLMs a risky endeavor for your career, which is why I just say run and avoid them. And arguably immoral business practices, guys, you know, when it comes to this whole reselling garbage leads that aren't really leads, knowing what they're doing to make a huge cash cow profit off of you, that's immoral. It's not good. It's not good for our business. It makes our business look bad. It burns and screws a lot of people that never should have been burned or screwed. And it's really taking advantage of the ignorant, you know, which I think we as agency owners in our position of having knowledge shouldn't do. For the sake of making money, you know, where's your soul, man? Is all I have to say. So stay away from the MLMs. Number 3, lack of training. This is a big reason why people fail. It's because they just aren't trained well. Mentorship and training is critical to your success as a final expense telesales agent, guys. One thing I will say here is that this is like a Gilded Age type of learning process. You need a master who has done this thing teach you as the apprentice, and you work with as you apprentice with that master for a period of time to learn the craft until you can do it on your own. You got to have that mindset coming into this business. I have seen agents turn around their business because they finally find a mentor and a coach that will tell them the truth and to constructively criticize them to get better and to improve. Why the MLM model encourages poor training and mentorship opportunities? Well, the bottom line with MLM, and again, this is most of what's out there, they encourage it because they're not necessarily interested in you selling. They're interested in making money off of you, knowing that there's some people that just make money making sales anyways, but there's a middle group of people that they'll monetize off of with these sham leads and other things that, you know, they're not too concerned about it. And other times, you know, there are MLMs that use you and specifically your contacts, and you're the lead generator, where they will make sales to your leads, your contacts, but you don't necessarily get a cut of the action until you go through training or whatever BS they tell you. So again, you could have made those sales, like in most traditional models. If there's a sale to be made, it's you making the sale and you making most, if not all, the commission. But there's MLMs that don't do that. They feed off of their people and monetize their contacts without cutting them in on the deal, which is very, very bad, contributes to failure. Number 4, no prospect generation system. Guys, final expense, your leads are the lifeblood of your business. Your prospect is a lead. A prospect is somebody who is interested or could be interested. A lead is somebody who has expressed interest. You have to have these to have a business. If you don't have leads or prospects, you don't have a final expense telesales business. You're already failed before you know it. So you have to, when joining an agency, make sure that part of that process comes with a system, a turnkey system that puts you in front of good prospects, okay? Again, I can only reference myself. You know, in our free lead program, we have developed a phenomenal system to generate high quality prospects and leads for our clients. So all they have to do, our clients being our agents, have to do is just pick up the phone and dial and close them. For our brokers, we've developed the Alpha Lead system to get them in front of high quality leads without having to worry about learning how to generate leads on Facebook and dealing with that whole hassle. So that's our setup. There's other setups that have maybe direct mail leads or TV leads. But you should know this before getting and joining into the agency. How is their approach to generating leads? Because you need to have that to be successful. Number 5, this is again something I've learned as I've run a mostly broker-based business where the agents buy their own leads and now into a free lead system, is what I call entrepreneurial shock. Entrepreneurial shock, it's a term I made up myself. It's the idea that the fantasy and the allure of entrepreneurship, man, I'm going to have freedom, independence, I can do what I want and make a lot of money, is not actually reflective of reality. The reality of being an entrepreneur is, guess what? You don't have any freedom. If you want to make money, you're going to be working your ass off for hours and hours on end. You're going to be on the phone. You're going to get rejected. You might have to buy your own leads. And now you got to explain to your spouse and your loved ones why the savings are deplenishing, right? And the whole process of being thrusted into the world and realm of entrepreneurship, it's a shock. And a lot of people fail out because of that. For example, there's income inconsistency. If you've been on a wage your whole life and you move into a role where you're on a straight commission, it's a shock. Or the threat of income inconsistency, it changes your behaviors that you otherwise wouldn't have if you knew there was a guarantee on your income. Taxes. This is a big one that hits the productive agents. You got to pay quarterly taxes, ladies and gentlemen. Uncle Sugar expects that. And also, the other half of FICA Social Security you have to pay for. Your employer, now that you don't have one, doesn't pay that half. So there's a little bit higher taxes initially. Granted, you can deduct your lead costs and other expenses associated with your business, but the taxes do kind of grab everybody by surprise. Another thing is a lot of agents have a paycheck-to-paycheck mentality. Being an entrepreneur, if you're going to go full bore, even if you're just doing free leads, you're going to have to manage your income. You can't spend every dollar you get, ladies and gentlemen. There's no guarantee you're going to make any more money tomorrow. There's high likelihood you will if you follow the system. But you need to be saving your money. You need to be padding your bank account for the up years and the down years, the up weeks and down weeks, right? And if you don't do that, and you live this paycheck to paycheck mentality, you're not going to have the staying power in the business, even if you're on a free lead program. Now, the way to significantly reduce entrepreneurial shock and increase your odds of success, in my opinion, is that you have to really have to consider the free lead program. There's no way to get rid of the fact that you're on a straight commission. There are some people who don't do well under that, understandably, but I can tell you this, getting rid of the shock that comes with managing your lead budget makes a huge impact on a lot of people. Again, our agents in our free lead program, as of presently, average about 19 to 20,000 in production a month, whereas our agents in our broker, actually the average agent across the board throughout our agency averages around 8,000 to 9,000, somewhere in that range. So almost more than double production are coming out of our free lead agents compared to the average, which also includes a free lead agent. So the average is probably a little bit lower than that. So what's my point in that? Well, the free lead agents, I think in part, because they don't have this entrepreneurial shock as much, and all they have to focus on is selling, they get more done and thus make more money, which seems kind of inverse. But the point is, becoming an entrepreneur is not all rainbows and sunshine. It's not all fun and games. It takes a high level of commitment. It takes a high level of focus and consistency. And you need to check yourself about this stuff before you get into this business, because this is a reality no matter where you go, free leads or by your own. Some other realities of selling final expense and why people fail out. There's something called chargebacks. Chargebacks are the monies that you were paid that now you must repay because your client lapsed before the advanced debt paid off. So a chargeback is an advance is a loan, and the collateral that backs up the loan is the policy. And as soon as that policy lapses, if the advance hasn't been covered by the premiums the client has paid, then you owe back whatever portion hasn't been paid. And so what agents will do is they oversell. They push product too hard, and they force people to buy that will just frankly cancel sometime into the future. And that causes what you had earned to now be a debt that you have to pay back. So how you sell and what you sell greatly will diminish the impact of chargebacks, but they do cause agents to fail. Handling rejection. Your life as a final expense telesales agent is about handling the rejection that you will get on a daily basis. People are going to say some of the wildest, nastiest, and meanest things to you on the phone. You might as well just accept it now, that they're going to say all sorts of crap. But you shouldn't let that deter you personally, because it's not personal. These people are just unhinged, and you just happen to hit them on the worst time available so that they could show you their true selves. But it shouldn't be something that you take personally. But even as I teach this, and even as I explain this logically, some people just cannot handle getting put down constantly, even though they'll end the day with a couple of sales if they just follow the system. And the last one, this is interesting. This is kind of more of a longer term issue with more advanced agents, is boredom. Remember how I said earlier that final expense is a simple business? It is. But if you are the type of person that likes to complicate things, or you're a creative personality, this business becomes boring. You literally will do the same thing on your first day as you will years later into your career. And if you don't have something to keep your mind busy, you might start to do what a lot of these guys do. It's like, oh, I'm going to get into crypto now, or I'm going to buy real estate, or I'm going to do this or that. To me, those are problems or distractions from optimizing your business and where your skill set is. Not to say that those are necessarily bad, but the distractions end up diminishing the capability from their prime money-making activity, which invariably means they make less income and sometimes fail out of the business. I've seen this happen a number of times with people who do predominantly well. So this is a first world problem. It's not like, a real problem, but it is something to manage, because as a performance-based individual, now that you're a salesperson selling final expense over the phone, you got to manage the headspace. That's a lot of the problems that cause people to fail.